Today is Memorial Day, May 25th, 2020, and I'm starting a soup. I'm starting by caramelizing my onions, frozen pack that has celery, bell peppers, and onions, and I'm going to caramelize this. I've added a little bit of salt to help it caramelize. I have corn ready to grate to put into my soup. That's what I'll be putting in. All grated, ready. I've added my corn and ready to start letting it simmer. My onions are caramelized. I've added my corn, so I'll let this simmer for a few minutes before adding another ingredient. I have just added peas, early June peas, into my soup at this time. It's starting to look good. Touch of green. It's looking pretty good. Peas, corn, caramelized onion, everything is beginning to simmer. I've added dry onions, lemon pepper, and ginger. Ginger takes the place of adding a lot of salt. You don't need a lot of salt. Hardly any salt if you use ginger. My next ingredients will be celery and a mixture of frozen onions and different type of bell peppers in the onion mix. I have diced my celery. Now I'm going to dice carrots into the mix. Now my carrots are diced, and I'll go put that into my soup cooking. I've also diced the onions a little bit smaller from the frozen pack of bell peppers and onions. Ready to put in the soup. I've added the celery, carrots, and the mixture of bell peppers and onions, and I'll let this simmer for a while, start to cook, and we'll go to my other ingredients. Starting to sizzle real good, and then I'll cover that and let it get tender a little bit before adding something else. These are my other ingredients. I have bell pepper, a turnip, and some radish and parsley. I'm adding frozen green beans and a mixture of frozen green beans, peas, carrots, and corn. My mixture is in green beans, corn, everything. Don't that look great? Nice and fresh. Vegetables. I wish they would be fresh, but with Corona, that's the freshest I can get at this time is frozen. Some of it is fresh, some of it is frozen, but the outcome will be great. Putting frozen stuff in it takes a while to start sizzling back, starting to simmer. Then I'll cover that and go cut my other vegetables to incorporate. I also have a zucchini and a squash, which I'll be adding at the end. I have my turnip and my bell pepper all washed, ready to cut. Now I have my radishes washed and ready to cut also. I have my turnip all cut, so I'll be adding my turnip now. I added my turnip, so I'll be letting that cook for a while before I put the other stuff in. I'm going to let it start to get tender a little bit. Don't that look good? My Memorial Day COVID-19 lunch. Healthy lunch. Healthy soup. I love to cook. I've been cooking since I'm 6 years old. Never cooked too many canned foods. Always had fresh. My grandma had a farm. We always had fresh vegetables. Okay, so now I'll be cutting my zucchini and squash. They look pretty good, huh? I just trim both the top and the bottom to make sure it's all clean there. I stand them up and slice them according to where it's safe for me to cut them. I cut them by 3, and then I make 3 sections. So I make 3 sections, and then I dice that like to your right, like I do. I only have 2 pieces of my zucchini cut so far. Done with the zucchini, I'll start to cut the squash. 1 more piece to go on the squash. I'm done with my squash and zucchini. So I'm going to start on my radish. Instead of cutting the radish, I caught some parsley, which is not parsley. It'll be cilantro that I'm putting in. Looks like parsley, but today is cilantro, which is great. Okay, so I have my cilantro all cut and ready to incorporate. Just making sure my other vegetables are nice and tender. You notice that it's a soup, but it's very dense soup. It's mostly for us to have a lot of vegetables. We don't need a lot of sauce, but it's mostly for us to have healthy vegetables. So, and everything else seems to be getting nice and tender. So I'll be checking that before I put my other ingredients in it. I'm cutting my radishes in kind of big pieces to put at the end so they can keep their texture and color. Nice and sizzling. And then I'll cover it and slow it down, and that'll make my vegetables nice and tender.